zero public comments. On behalf of the Lincoln Board of Education, I welcome you here this evening. This is the time set aside by the board to hear from you, the members of our community. We invite you to address the board with any comments, questions, or concerns regarding board actions, policies, or other issues not resolved through appropriate administrative channels. In compliance with board policy, the board will not immediately respond to concerns presented this evening. However, we will respond to inquiries on or before the next board meeting. Please state your name and address for the record. Board policy limits individual comments to 5 minutes or less. Comments with respect to the performance of specific district employees are not appropriate during this time. Please keep in mind that the rules of common courtesy apply, and we strongly encourage positive feedback. If there is anyone that wishes to address the board, please come to the microphone.
I'm on 62 on 1920. This other comment and questions I just clarification on regarding the bus routing and understanding the changes that were there. Last year it took my son 20 to 25 minutes to get home, along with the other children that are in the neighborhood. Wednesday, they took the bus an hour and 40 minutes to get home. Thursday, it took the bus an hour and 30 minutes to get home. And on Friday, it took the bus an hour and 3 minutes to get home. So, I understand the need to consolidate. I need to all that, I understand all that. But my concern is this: Wednesday's ride was 5 times longer than last year. Thursday's ride was 4 times longer. Friday's was 3 times longer. That's unacceptable. My son's 9, so it's not that big a deal. But there's 5-year-old kids on the bus that cannot withstand an hour and a half, even an hour bus ride home. That needs to be 5 minutes. So I guess what I am asking is who designed the route and who validated the route, because I did not see any buses from Lincoln. It could have been me that drove the routes the way they used to drive them. So I guess I want to understand, if the route was made, who double checked to see if it would even work? And are we consolidating 4 into 2, 3 into 2, or what are we doing? Because if it's 4 into 2, then we need to do 3, go back to 3 buses, because this isn't going to work. So I guess that's my question of why did this happen, and how long is it going to take to fix it? And I would hope that it can be fixed next week.
So I don't know that we're aware of the situation. I'm hopeful that Mr. Petzak has shared that with you. So can we please follow up with Mr. Petzak with transportation, and I'm going to help you out here with what can we do to improve it. So, and then if we could get back to Mr. Rollins next week, that'd be great.
And the other thing is when my son gets off the bus, there's 10 to 15 more kids on the bus. So it's probably they got another 10 to 15 more minutes before they go out. So, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Tom Burnett, 8424 Crestshire Drive. Without being too facetious, I can give you a clue where that money came from. It came from the wallets of the employees. You realize every single concession dollar that the employees gave to you, additionally, the $175 from the state and election year gift, has been eaten up and spent on additional administrative positions and contracted services. This is a board of education, not a board of business. When are we going to start addressing the direct educational needs of our students? That's where that money came from. It came from the pockets of the people that educate our children. How it got accounted for That's another item. I'm concerned about what I heard tonight. The Board of Education is the only body that can approve a budget. And that includes all budget amendments. And yet tonight you heard that line items are being shifted around to cover shortfalls in one area out of surpluses in another area. It's a budget amendment. You need to hear that. It needs to be presented to you in a formal manner so that you as a board have full working knowledge of the financial fiasco that is currently Lincoln Consolidated Schools. I'm really discouraged at the numbers game that's been played on you. I'm glad, Kim, you asked the question, what's the overall enrollment projection right now? Can you tell me what it is?
I believe we're down
Yes.
from projected.
So
What?
we've got 100 more at the high school. How many less at the elementary? Because it's that overall number that is what the budget is based on. Another little shell game that's not giving you real numbers, real information to make intelligent decisions. You all are functioning with a knowledge deficit because you're not being told honest, accurate, timely facts by the people that are employed to give you those numbers. That means you can't make good decisions. If you can't make good decisions, the education of our students suffers. You need to hold the people that are responsible. Jennifer, thank you for your comment saying we need to have explanations from people who should know this information. Because that's the kind of accountability that has been lacking and has gotten us into this mess. Finally, I'm concerned about the strength and conditioning contract. BARWIS, I think, is the contracted service. Listed in their core values is faith and a belief in God. That's well and good for professionals. That's well and good for college students. But it has no place in public education. So there will have to be a concerted effort to keep that core value from being forced upon any of our students. That's a violation of the separation of church and state. So that has to be addressed under the contract. If it's approved, you have to know how that core value is not going to be imposed on any of our students. That's an important consideration, because you could find yourself in a heap of trouble over that one issue. And finally, again, just a reminder, we have more administrators, more central office administrators in place now, and you've got a proposal to add 3 more than we had 10 years ago. And we had fewer students and more employees. Your current administration is creating a structural deficit that if it's unfettered and left unchecked, will be the financial ruin of this district. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Blair.
Melissa Palmquist, 8,000 Fettlestone Drive. First of all, I would like to say thank you to President Samuelson and Trustee Shores before questioning the spending on Mr. Sobey's services. It is nice to finally hear that someone is standing up and asking the question that those of us back here have been asking for many, many months. And I would also like to bring up the status that Rick received for our MEAT testing, which is recognition of our strong and positive growth and the number of students that are passing and improving on the MEAT. Rick received a lime green status, and we were the only school in Lincoln District to receive that. And not one member of administration, with the exception of President Samuelson, acknowledged that, and that was through email that she sent out to the staff, congratulating us on that, and we thank you for that. Because no matter what, our staff is handed or dealt. They do it with their heads held high. They do it with pride, and this first week of school proved that. Because our staffing is stretched thin, and yet they rocked it. And I'm only a noon supervisor, but I do sub in the classroom sometimes. But I have a child here, and I couldn't be more proud to say that I have a great student. And as part of the welcome back to the teachers and the support staff, our PTO gave out lime green ribbons for our staff to wear, and every single one said thank you so much for recognizing the lime green status. And so again, I would just like to say thank you to our teachers and staff for that. I would also like to touch on transportation. I realize that the first week, even maybe the first 2 weeks, there are a lot of bugs to be worked out. The very first full day, my children's bus was more than 10 minutes late, and again, I realized there are bugs to be worked out. When I called transportation to question this, because I thought, okay, maybe we missed it, I was told that on Friday the 28th, an update had been posted to the website. Not everybody goes to the website every single day, and we all know that it's in a work in progress, So a mass email would have been nice, saying that there had been an update made to the website just a few days before school started, or to the bus route, And I was told that my pickup time had changed, but when I went and checked the update, my time is still the same. So that was a little frustrating, thinking that, okay, well, maybe it changed, I'll give it the benefit of the doubt, but no, in fact, it had not, so I wasn't even given correct information from the transportation department. And just out of curiosity, wondering, do the drivers drive their route before the school year even starts? This is the 4th year we've been in Brick School, or Lincoln School's 4th year for a new driver. So just, wondering if they take the time to do that before the year starts. And lastly, I would like to touch on GRBS a little bit. And being a noon supervisor at Brick, I'm out on the playground day in, day out. They were not out there all winter. When we asked for salt, we were told no. Our playgrounds were never cleared properly for our children to come out and play. We asked could we borrow shovels so we could clear the main pathways for them that are concrete, and again we were told no. So we had another noon supervisor and a teacher donate shovels to us, and many days we spent our recess time out there clearing the walkways so our children had a place to line up, so they had a place to walk safely. And that's just frustrating because we're paying them to maintain our playground to be a safe area for our children. And lastly, I would like to say, as for things being repaired and updated because of abuse and neglect, to me, that insinuates that our previous custodians did not do their job. And speaking on behalf of the Brick staff, and I think it's safe to say they would all agree, our custodians took pride in their building. They did everything they could and needed to in order for our building to run smoothly, efficiently, and safely, and there's not a day that goes by that we don't miss them.
Is there anyone else that wishes to address the board at this time?
Mitchell, 630 North Adams. First I want to say thank you. Thank you for the welcome back basket. That was very well received. It was a good pick me up, and our pencils are almost gone, so we really appreciate that. I think the candy's going to hang around for a little bit longer. I wanted to thank Mr. Upton for coming to open house, and Mrs. Danielson as well. It was very nice to see them in the building, and some of the rest of you may have come, but those of you who brought us off. I know Mr. McMahon comes to Brick a lot, and we really appreciate that as well. And I wanted to thank you too, Mrs. McKasick. I know you have come into a difficult situation, and I appreciate your efforts, and a lot of people do. And I think you deserve thanks. I also want to thank Mrs. Sanderson for sending 2 emails about our laundering status. I think the staff is kind of taken aback that there wasn't, I don't know, some kind of statement or something. But our PTO recognized it, which was wonderful. Our board president recognized it, which was wonderful. We worked very, very hard on behalf of our students. And, every day is a step in the right direction. And the Brick staff has gotten to the point where we're all pulling in the same direction. And that is what makes us succeed. And we will continue to do better and to grow. Couple other things. We do not have maps, so if we could get those. I don't think I know of a staff member who has received the maps in regard to the daily cleaning and the weekly cleaning. So I think that would be really helpful for us to have that. One more thing, with transportation. I know that a lot of what's going on with transportation is about the shuttle from Child. And right now, it is very much, if you come out to the buses, a work in progress. And I think the staff that are out there could share with you lots of suggestions about how we could make that move more smoothly. I think the kids from Child are hanging out for a really long time while we move kids from bus to bus. And I think that's what is causing the difficulties in a long bus ride. But I think there are ways that we can resolve that if we can, talk together about what needs to happen. Finally, people have asked, why are we so angry, right? Why are the people who get up here every week so angry? You know why. You're seeing it, right? 24,000 line item gets bumped up to 146,000 to cover an expense. 7,500 gets bumped up to 81,000. That did come from us. That did come from the employees. That's the only explanation that makes sense, right? We gave concessions to reduce the deficit. Our contracts were negotiated based on that understanding. Our concessions have not reduced the deficit. Our concessions have gone to pay consultants. Our concessions are going to pay additional administrative staffing in this district. That is not the basis on which our contracts were negotiated. That's why we're angry.
Is there anyone else that wishes to address the board at this time? Moving on to 9.0, board reports and correspondence. 9.1, I just recently emailed the minutes from the meeting before the last one. I had to do edits to make, so those will be emailed out to you. Not quite finished from the meeting minutes from last Tuesday. I will be getting that to you shortly. Do you have any questions based on any of the information received from us? Trustee?
There had been earlier discussion dropping committee minutes into a Dropbox. Is that been done? Or?
I don't remember the conversation, and the meeting minutes aren't official until they've been presented in the board packet. So at the time that those go, or that Ms. Penn posts them to the website, is after they've been to the board meeting.
Rather than ratified the committee.
Yes. I mean, I always send them to Ms. Finch, and she includes them in your board packet, and at that time they get posted with the rest of the board packet to the website.
I was saying ease, but or places I was missing.
Well, the Dropbox was great. It's still not going to help me finish my minutes. So regardless of whether there's Dropbox or not, if I don't finish the minutes, they're not going to make it anyway. So, and I'm really not going to apologize too much because it's been an incredibly busy summer and an incredibly busy few weeks for me. So I will get those to you as soon as possible. And if you have any questions, you can certainly let me know. Moving on to 9.2, Board Performance Committee Report, Trustee Jaworski.
I also did not complete my Performance Committee report. I will email those out because there's some information that we all should know prior to our next meeting, but I will have them in as well for our next meeting, which is Monday, September 22nd at 4 o'clock in the Superintendent's Conference Room.
Thank you. So 9.3 Board Planning Committee report, unfortunately, trustee Lombard could not be here this evening, so I'm sure she'll have a report for us at the next board meeting. 9.4 reports and correspondence. I do have just one thing to mention, and that was from Jason Lucas, who is a Lincoln alumni, and he has requested special recognition at one of the upcoming home football games. They feel pretty strongly about being recognized as a group. Therefore, I don't believe the actual homecoming game is going to work for them. So I would just ask, I did send you a copy of my response to him. I would just ask that you work with him where appropriate and give it consideration. Certainly the final decision will be up to administration and the athletic director. So I did reach out to him. I did respond to him. And I appreciate any effort on it.